it is not the goal that renders a system oppressive. It is always the methods by which the goal is pursued. Whenever a government claims to have the people's interest at heart, you need to think again. In the entire history of mankind, there has never been a political elite sincerely concerned about the well-being of regular people. What makes any of us think that it is different now? If the age of enlightenment has brought forth anything, then certainly this. Never take anything any government tells you at face value. Always question everything any government does or does not do. Always look for ulterior motives and always ask, cui bono, who benefits? Whenever a political elite pushes an agenda this hard and resorts to extortion and manipulation to get their way, you can almost always be sure your benefit is definitely not what they had at heart. As far as I'm concerned, I will not be vaccinated with anything that has not been properly vetted and tested and has shown no sound scientific evidence that the benefits outweigh the disease itself and possible long-term side effects, which, to this day, we don't know anything about. I will not be reduced to a mere guinea pig by getting vaccinated with an experimental drug. And I will most assuredly not get vaccinated because my government tells me to and promises in return I will be granted freedom. Let's be clear about one thing. No one grants me freedom, for I am a free person. So I dare the European Commission and the German government. Throw me in jail, lock me up and throw away the key for all I care. But you will never be able to coerce me into being vaccinated if I, the free citizen that I am, choose not to be vaccinated.
You know, we were elected by the people. That's what the treaty says. But we should not forget that we are elected here for the people. We should have the best interests of people in mind, because that is the reason why they elected us here in the European Parliament. All these leaders of the European Parliament, they like to praise themselves every time when they go in a press conference to say that this is the most democratic institution of the European Union. The question to them is really so? Have you told these people in the Parliament, when you decided to strip their fundamental rights, why you have done it? You see, we have all these treaties, as my colleague said, that no medical treatment should be imposed on you unless you decide about it freely and under informed consent. Now, clearly what they do right now to condition the access in the Parliament to have this green certificate is violating this freedom of people to choose what do they want to be vaccinated with or tested with. But there's the other aspect, and the question that I address not only to you in the Parliament, but to every European citizen, to ask your own government, were you properly informed about what is going on? Because we had a lot of debates at the beginning of this year in the Parliament where we demanded full access to the contracts signed between these companies that produce the vaccines and the European Union. And I quote from an article in Euroactiv, who says the following in an article from January 22nd, 2021, that says the following: the contract signed between pharmaceutical company and the European Commission in November of 2020 was made available to MEPs on Tuesday in a redacted format after the company agreed to open the contract up to scrutiny. Say what? Say what? So you're imposing a medical product on the European citizens without them knowing what's in these contracts? Not only them knowing, but us, we don't know. So after a lot of pressure in the parliament, as the article says, these contracts were disclosed to us and to the public. And I want to show you some of those pages. And you tell me if this is okay for the European citizens to be exposed to this situation where they cannot come to work, they cannot enter a store, they cannot go with their kids to schools, where they cannot freely move from one country to another, unless in one situation is vaccinated with one of these products. So these are the contracts that were disclosed by the Commission with the approval of the company. This is unheard of. And I will just show you the pages. These are the pages. You see?
They call this transparency these days.
So this is the fundamental principle, right, of democracy. I'm asking you guys, is this transparency? Do you see anything? Because we don't. European citizens' money have been given by Ursula von der Leyen to these companies. What happened with this money? What are they? Why are they open with the people and fully transparent? So we all know what is going on. The difference between tyranny and democracy is very simple. When the government knows everything about you, that's tyranny. I know how it is to live in tyranny. When you know everything about your government, that's democracy. So this is where we are right now, praising this institution. It's the most democratic institution in the European Union. And even us as MEPs, as directly elected by the people, for the people, we haven't been able to see in these contracts. So as we said last week, we are here for you, and we will fight for you. I know many of you are struggling all across Europe, and many of you working for the European institutions are struggling right now. But look, as a former US president said, freedom, liberty is one generation away from extinction. We live that type of time right now. And it's our duty and our call to fight for liberty. Thank you.
We fight them! Every nobleman with a will to fight was at that meeting! We cannot beat an army! With the 50 farmers we can raise!
And we do not have to beat them. Just fight them.
Your father was a fighter!
I know who my father was. I came back home to raise crops and, God willing, a family. If I can live in peace, I will. I love you. Always have. I want to marry you.
Assault on the king's soldiers.
Meet me at the grove. Right!
They're getting away! Is the same as an assault on the king himself.
Run!
Go home.
We'll have no homes left when the English garrison from the castle comes through and burns us out. And they will.
I'm William Wallace. Go back to England and tell them there that Scotland's daughters and her sons are yours no more. Tell them Scotland is free.
A rebellion has begun. Under whom? A commoner named William Wallace.
Blood is spread, and the Highlanders are coming down on their own. Aye, in droves of hundreds and thousands.
If I risk my neck for you, when I get a chance to kill Englishmen.
Hold!
Who's with me?
I am Wallace. Are you ready for a war?
Here are Scotland's terms. Lower your flags and march straight back to England, stopping at every home you pass by, to beg forgiveness for 100 years of theft, rape and murder.
Sons of Scotland! I am William Wallace. And I see a whole army of my countrymen here in defiance of tyranny. You've come to fight as free men. Free men you are. What will you do with that freedom? Will you fight?
Fight against that? No! We will run!
And we will live. Aye. Fight and you may die. Run and you'll live. At least a while. And dying in your beds many years from now, would you be willing to trade all the days from this day to that for one chance just one chance to come back here and tell our enemies that they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom!
This Wallace is a brigand, nothing more.
Wallace has already killed the magistrate and taken control of the town.
This Wallace, he doesn't even have a knighthood, but he fights with passion, and he inspires.
William Wallace killed 50 men.
100 men with his own sword. Cut through them like
Moses through the Red Sea.
Sir William, in the name of God, we declare and appoint thee guardian and high protector of Scotland, and thy captains as aide-de-camp. Stand and be recognised.